no, this part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging taking the DNA test.
I won't let the court systems just walk over me. I won't let Jay-Z, and I won't let no one just walk over me.
Picture this, one of hip-hop's most powerful empires, built on carefully crafted narratives and billion-dollar deals, suddenly facing its biggest threat. Not from rival rappers, not from business competitors, but from a collection of family photos, handwritten letters, and documents that refuse to disappear. The so-called family albums have surfaced like a digital earthquake, threatening to expose secrets the Carter dynasty has allegedly spent decades and millions trying to bury. For years, whispers followed Jay-Z through boardrooms and recording studios. Quiet lawsuits that vanished into sealed files, young men claiming blood connections that powerful lawyers somehow made disappear. But now these aren't just whispers anymore. They're photographs. They're handwritten notes from mothers who swore their children belonged to Sean Carter. They're timelines that don't match the official biography of hip-hop's first billionaire. The stakes have never been higher. Because when you're worth over $1 billion and your brand is built on control, authenticity, and respect, there's nothing more dangerous than evidence you can't buy, silence, or lawyer away. And that's exactly what these family albums represent, a collection of receipts that allegedly connects decades of paternity claims to one undeniable truth. Jay-Z has been running from DNA tests longer than he's been running Roc Nation. These aren't random accusations from opportunistic strangers. We're talking about multiple individuals across different states, spanning different decades, all sharing eerily similar stories. A brief encounter with a rising young rapper named Sean Carter, a pregnancy that followed, a mother who tried to make contact, and then the weight of an empire descending with lawyers, NDAs, and the kind of silence only serious money can buy. The most explosive piece centers around Rymir Satterthwaite, the New Jersey man whose late mother Wanda left behind what he calls a treasure trove of evidence. Handwritten letters dated from the early 1990s, filled with addresses and details that place everything squarely in Jay-Z's pre-fame timeline. The letters read like time capsules, capturing the slang, the streets, and the raw honesty of that era. But more than the words, it's the photographs that have people talking. Side-by-side comparisons that show facial features, jawlines, and expressions that seem too similar to be coincidental. Rymir isn't asking for money. He's not threatening violence or making wild demands for attention.
I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it. Seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of.
His message has remained consistent for years. I just want the truth. It's a simple request that somehow requires an army of expensive attorneys to avoid. When someone only wants acknowledgement and you respond with decades of legal stonewalling, people start wondering what exactly you're trying to hide. But Rymir isn't the only voice in this chorus of claims. Enter Letitia, the Maryland woman who has spent years insisting she's Jay-Z's secret firstborn daughter. Reports suggest she's come forward with what she claims is DNA evidence of her own. The allegations get even more specific. Whispers in the industry claim Jay-Z allegedly maintains a house for her in Cambridge, with all bills covered under one strict rule: no photographs of him allowed anywhere on the premises. Think about that for a moment. If these claims are baseless, why would such specific arrangements allegedly exist? Why would there be rules about photographs? Why would there be consistent financial support paired with enforced silence? Either these are incredibly elaborate lies, or we're looking at a pattern of damage control that's been operating quietly for decades.
What makes this story even more compelling is the role Beyoncé allegedly plays behind the scenes.
Industry insiders whisper that Mrs. Carter isn't just Jay's partner in music and business, she's his partner in survival. Her public image radiates empowerment, sisterhood, and authenticity. But when it comes to protecting the family empire, sources claim she operates with ruthless precision. NDAs allegedly flow like champagne at Roc Nation events. Contracts designed to silence first and ask questions never. The pattern is always the same. When accusers come forward, they're quickly painted as opportunistic harassers. Legal technicalities appear like magic tricks. Court documents get sealed faster than concert tickets sell out. And through it all, the Carter machine keeps grinding, turning potential scandals into distant memories that most people eventually forget. But here's what the Carter camp didn't anticipate: these family albums refusing to fade away. Every time the story seems ready to disappear, new photographs surface, more handwritten evidence emerges, additional voices join the conversation, and each time the same question echoes louder. If Jay-Z is so certain about his innocence, Why won't he simply take a DNA test that could end everything in a single afternoon? The contradiction is striking. This is the same Jay-Z who survived the brutal hip-hop industry, positioned himself as one of the most untouchable moguls in history, and built an empire on the foundation of never backing down. But when it comes to this one issue, the most powerful voice in hip-hop has remained muted, hidden behind silence and a fortress of attorneys. Recent developments have only intensified the scrutiny. Court filings show that accusers aren't going away quietly. They're getting more organized, more vocal, and more determined to force the conversation into public view. The emotional toll is visible in interviews where you can hear the exhaustion in voices of people who've spent years fighting just to be acknowledged. What's particularly telling is how the Carter legal strategy seems specifically designed to exhaust opponents. Drag out proceedings until families run out of money. Bury accusers in paperwork until their energy fades. Wait for hope itself to dissolve under the weight of legal bills and endless delays. It's a war of attrition where only one side has unlimited resources. This creates a disturbing dynamic where the longer Jay-Z avoids a simple DNA test, the more his silence looks less like dignity and more like calculated evasion. Every sealed document, every delayed court date, every unexplained legal maneuver feeds the growing suspicion that something significant is being hidden. The cultural impact extends far beyond Jay-Z's personal reputation. He's positioned himself as a champion of justice, a voice for equality, and a role model who transformed his life into a parable of redemption. But if even half of these allegations prove true, then we have to confront an uncomfortable question. What does it mean when the voice of justice won't face the truth in his own life? For Beyoncé, the stakes are equally high. Her brand is built on empowerment, truth, and strength. But as more details leak and her silence stretches longer, it starts looking less like composure and more like complicity. Fans are beginning to ask whether she's been another bystander caught up in a crisis too massive to stop, or whether she's been actively helping to manage the cover-up. The real cliffhanger isn't whether Jay-Z will eventually take a DNA test. The cliffhanger is whether the Carter brand itself can survive this relentless storm of evidence, accusations, and questions that refuse to disappear. Every leak makes the empire look more vulnerable. Every sealed court document makes the silence look more suspicious. What we're witnessing might be the beginning of the end for one of entertainment's most carefully constructed dynasties. Because at some point, the weight of secrets becomes too heavy for even billion-dollar empires to carry. The family albums represent more than just photographs and letters. They represent the possibility that not every voice can be silenced, and not every secret can stay buried forever. The pattern has repeated itself for decades. Deny, delay, discredit, but patterns can only hold for so long before they break under their own weight. And when that happens, the truth has a way of spilling out all at once, destroying everything in its path. The question isn't whether the dam will break, it's when and how much damage the flood will cause when it finally does.